Welcome to the Open Mic, where bold stories spark big conversations.
Wait to be here.
Today we're diving deep into Bad Boy, this Israeli drama series. It just premiered on Netflix, actually, May 2nd, 2025.
Yeah, just days ago.
And it's already made this, pretty significant global impact.
Huge impact, yeah. Within the first 2 days, it hit the top 10 in, 30 countries?
30 countries. Staggering. I mean, that kind of immediate buzz, that widespread appeal, you don't see that every day.
No, you really don't.
So we definitely wanted to explore, what's behind it.
Right. And it's important to say up front, this isn't your typical prison drama.
No, not at all. Not like Prison Break or Oz or even Orange is the New Black.
Exactly. Bad Boy takes us somewhere else. It feels, maybe more challenging. It's the world of boys, kids, really, aged 12 to 18.
Growing up inside prison walls.
Yeah, growing up there.
It makes you wonder, what does it tell us when this kind of story resonates so quickly, so broadly?
I think that rapid global embrace suggests it's tapping into something deeper than just the usual prison show formula.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of focusing on, hardened adult criminals, it throws us right into those really formative teenage years, but in this extreme context, incarceration.
So that immediate connection worldwide kind of raises questions, doesn't it? About how we see young people, punishment.
And the impact of these places, these institutions on young lives, definitely.
And the foundation for all this intensity is, it's really compelling. Bad Boy isn't just made up, is it?
No, not entirely. It's based on the real-life experiences of Daniel Chen.
Who's now a really successful Israeli comedian.
Right. Which is quite a journey in itself.
Absolutely. To go through something like that, so difficult, and then find a way to process it, share it through drama, especially after building a career making people laugh.
Well, and you wonder how that lived experience shapes the storytelling, right? Chen's comedy background, it probably gives him a unique lens, a way to look at the darker stuff from his past.
Maybe find some humor in it even.
Maybe. Or maybe how humor functioned for him back then, like how it works for the characters in the show. A way to cope, maybe. To get some control when you feel powerless.
That makes sense.
And the fact that it stems from his actual experiences, that commitment to the difficult realities, that likely gives it that authenticity, that punch.
So the story, it focuses on Dean. He's 13.
Just 13.
And he gets arrested in the middle of the night. His whole life just flips upside down.
Imagine that. Childhood 1 second, then suddenly you're in the youth prison system.
And there's this extra layer, too, right at the start. This hint that his own mother
might have been the one who reported him. Yeah.
Oof. That kind of betrayal, at that age, the impact must be huge.
Oh, absolutely. That potential betrayal, it's like the starting gun for Dean's journey. It isolates him immediately, forces him to figure out how to survive where trust is, probably pretty rare.
And he's in the system for 4 years, is that right?
Yeah, over 4 years, different periods of incarceration, critical years, those teenage years, but shaped by being locked up, by power games, just trying to fit in or survive.
And inside, he meets this mix of people. There's like a charismatic lifer, someone who seems to guide him, but maybe has some dark secrets.
Yeah, that's a classic archetype in these settings. But here, it's about influencing a kid. It could be a really warped kind of mentorship, survival tips for that world.
Then there's a theater teacher who sees something in him, some talent.
Mm-hmm. And that's a potential lifeline, right? A connection to something outside, maybe self-discovery through art, a different path.
And then, of course, the other boys. They're all stuck in the same system, struggling.
And those interactions are key. Who do you trust? Who do you form alliances with? Who's going to betray you? It's like society, but compressed, super intense. The stakes are incredibly high.
We also heard that dark humor is a big part of it, like it runs through the series.
Yeah, apparently so.
Yeah.
As a survival tool for the inmates.
Like a coping mechanism, finding something, anything, to laugh about when things are just bleak.
Exactly that. It's a psychological tool, isn't it? It gives you a bit of distance, maybe lets you feel human for a second, share a laugh. It's a kind of defiance, too.
It doesn't make the situation less awful, but it helps you endure it.
Precisely. And what's really interesting is how that mirrors Daniel Chen's own life, ending up in comedy.
Yeah, totally. And that link becomes really explicit later on, because this series apparently jumps forward 20 years.
Right.
And we see Dean as a successful stand-up comedian, but he's desperate to keep his past locked away, a secret.
Which just hammers home how those early years, those experiences, they don't just disappear, they shape everything.
And how things like storytelling, like humor, can become ways to deal with that trauma.
Yeah, it shows that potential for resilience, for transformation. His past is still there, but he's channeling it into his art, his comedy. Maybe that gives him some control over the story, a story that was forced on him before.
But keeping it secret also says something.
It does. It speaks volumes about the stigma, doesn't it? The shame that sticks to people after they've been incarcerated, even as kids.
Let's talk about the team behind Bad Boy. The director is Hagar Ben Asher.
She did that film, Dead Women Walking.
Right, about women on death row. It's quite a shift, moving from the very end of life in prison to the beginnings of these young lives locked up.
It is, but her experience on Dead Women Walking probably brings this deep understanding of confinement, that emotional weight.
Maybe a particular sensitivity.
Yeah, and contrasting the finality of death row with the potential these young lives still hold, even in prison. It highlights how complex this whole experience is. She clearly knows how to handle these tough stories.
And the writing team looks really strong, too. Ron Lesham, he created Euphoria.
And Valley of Tears. Yeah, he knows how to write emotionally intense stuff.
And he worked with Moshe Melka, Amit Cohen, and Daniel Amsel. It's quite a collaboration.
Definitely. Lesham's track record suggests Bad Boy won't shy away from the psychological stuff, the inner lives of these characters, and having that team means they can probably tackle it from different angles, mixing Dean's personal story with, a wider look at the youth justice system itself.
The casting sounds spot on, too. Guy Menster plays Dean. It's his dramatic debut.
Apparently so, yeah. And reports say he's giving a really powerful performance, capturing that mix of being vulnerable but also finding strength.
Which sounds crucial for that role.
Absolutely. You need someone who can carry that journey.
And the supporting cast sounds great. Liraz Chamami as the tough prison commander.
Which raises questions about authority in that space.
And Batchen Sabag as the drama teacher.
Yeah.
Apparently she used to be an aspiring actress herself.
Oh, interesting. That adds another layer, doesn't it? Maybe some extra empathy or understanding for Dean's need for expression.
Plus, Daniel Chen himself actually appears in the series.
Really? Wow, that just blurs the lines even more between the real story and the fictionalized version.
It's pretty amazing how much praise Bad Boy got before it even landed on Netflix. It was already being called a major Israeli TV success. Then it cleaned up at the 2025 Israeli Academy Awards, Best Drama, Best Directing, Best Screenplay.
That's huge. Winning those big ones before the global release, that tells you something about the quality, the power of the story. It obviously hit hard in Israel first.
And that momentum probably helped fuel this incredible global launch on Netflix.
You'd think so. It sets the stage.
And yeah, that global success, top 10 in 30 countries, almost overnight. It really feels like Bad Boy could be one of those global cultural moments, like other big non-English shows that just take off.
It certainly has that potential.
What do you think makes it connect so widely so fast?
Well, I suspect it's the themes, right? They're universal, ultimately. Growing up, being confined, trying to figure out who you are, finding hope when things look hopeless.
Those resonate everywhere.
Exactly. The setting is specific Israeli youth prison, but the core human stuff, that connects. Adolescence is tough anyway. Imagine it in there. People get that on a gut level, I think.
And apparently, knowing it's Daniel Chen's real story, that really deepens the impact when you watch it.
I bet it does.
It goes beyond the usual prison cliches, the violence, the fear. It shows those moments of dark humor you mentioned, that sheer determination to just get through it.
It humanizes them. It reminds you that behind the label youth inmate, behind the statistics, these are individual kids with real lives, real stories, facing impossible situations.
Grounding it in Chen's life gives it that raw authenticity, that emotional weight.
Yeah, showing the humor, the resilience, it gives a fuller picture. Not just the horror, but the whole spectrum of how humans cope, even locked away. It makes you look past the easy labels.
So it definitely sounds like Bad Boy is way more than just, something to watch.
Oh, for sure. It feels important.
It's this really stark, compelling look at young lives getting shaped by these incredibly tough conditions and finding those little sparks of hope in really dark places.
Yeah.
And with Netflix pushing it out globally, Daniel Chen's very personal story could actually start a much bigger conversation, couldn't it? About youth justice everywhere.
It absolutely could. That's the power of storytelling, isn't it? To build empathy, make you see things differently.
Give you a window into a world you might never see otherwise.
Right. Maybe challenge some assumptions about youth incarceration, make people think about the long-term effects. Chen's story on this massive platform. Yeah, it could definitely spark dialogue, maybe even push for change.
And that's a wrap for today's episode of The Open Mic. It went fast. From the raw and really unflinching storytelling of Netflix's Bad Boy to its piercing look at the lives of boys behind bars, we've explored a series that definitely transcends the usual prison drama genre.
It really does.
Daniel Chen's journey, brought to life so powerfully by the actors and the creative team, it sparks such a vital conversation. How do we address the systems that shape young lives in confinement?
And can stories like this, these powerful dramas, actually inspire change in how society sees youth incarceration? Or do they just remain these powerful but kind of distant narratives?
That's the question. Should Bad Boy's global resonance push us all to confront these often hidden realities? Or maybe prompt more reflection on the power of humor and hope, even in the darkest places?
Lots to think about there.
We'd love to hear what you think. Share your thoughts at theopenmicpodcasts@gmail.com, and let's keep this dialogue alive.
Please do.
Until next time, stay curious, stay engaged, and keep championing a world where bold stories weave the vibrant tapestry of our future.